Good blessed Tuesday morning, January the 17th, 2022. The time being about 5:57 a.m. in the morning. I greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace. And the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't even matter whether you the proclaimed toughest or the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. Doesn't matter whether you like me or anything that I say or do or put on social internet. That's your prerogative. To those who believe that I or say that I don't welcome critics, I welcome critics, but the critics can't accept my response to some of their idiotic responses. But anyway, today I want to show those that don't know how the NAACP as a national chapter operate these days. If you see in the middle, I am a NAACP member, active NAACP member. My card number is, my membership member is, card number, branch number is 4999 at large. If you see what I have here is justice for Brian Lamont Johns. That's my son who was found hung Friday, March the 19th, 2021 in Carbondale, Illinois, in the 400 block of North Oakland Street in the Gaslight. That's Gasgite, Gaslights Apartments on the third floor in the hallway with no shirts on, money balled up in his hand. Left hand has a gas in it all the way to the tendons. 3 fractured ribs, a bashed in nose, a bashed in side of the left eye, up above the left eye, bruises on his side. But anyway, what I want to show you all something is about 81 days ago, I went to Carbondale, Illinois, Southern Illinois University campus in Carbondale. It was on April the 11th, 2022, because they was having the national chapter president of the national chapter of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, there to speak. The local chapters in Carbondale, in the Carbondale University, invited him there to speak. So I got a chance to meet the individual that ran the whole organization. And I want y'all to take a real good look at my question. They had question and answer. Take a real good look at the question that I asked him and then listen real good to his answer. 281 days ago. Now, it's been 669 days ago since my son was found hung. They ruled it suicide, and I've been protesting ever since to try to show that my son didn't commit suicide, but that he was murdered. His hanging was a stage hanging. And I filed a complaint with the NAACP chapter in Carbondale, Illinois, with Nancy Maxwell, which is the chairperson for the criminal department of Carbondale, Illinois, Jackson County NAACP. Spoke with Linda Flowers, which is the president. Spoke to Miss Harvey, which is the acting mayor in Carbondale, which she was a city council member then, but all three of them is NAACP members. I filed electronically email a complaint against the Carbondale police in their investigation of my son's death. I filed that May the 11th, 2021, or 22 rather, and yet to get any response. But listen to what this NAACP national president said, y'all. National now. Now, this man said that they don't have the volunteers and they don't really get involved. You have to get an attorney. But after you listen to what he said, I want to show you something that just happened last month in December. See, the NAACP, they have a national chapter president, which is Derek Johnson, run all the chapters in the United States. Then you have a state conference presidents, which they run the whole state of whatever state they in. Then you have local branch presidents, which you have over 2 million members, one national chapter president, 50 state conference presidents, and it is 2,200 chapters in the in the United States. So you got 2,200 presidents. Now, how is it that me and my two daughters, 16 and 17 now, going on 17 and 18, they was 15 and 16 when they joined the NAACP, and it's only one member in Carbondale, Illinois, that's been trying to help us. But now, the national conference president here in Charleston, in the state of Missouri, I sent him the information about my son hanging because I know him personally. I met him a few times, was at protesters for him, and recently went to Paducah, Kentucky to pick up some material for him to help them vote here in southeast Missouri. For no charge. That's me. But he sent his information to the proper authorities, which is the Illinois state chapter, state conference chapter president, which is Teresa Haley. I spoke to her personally on September the 9th, 2022 in Cairo, Illinois, at the Cairo High School, when NAACP had a banquet there, and I told her about my son's death, hanging, and she said she heard about it, and she received the email information from the Missouri state conference president, and she sent it to the national conference president, and that's all she can do. That's what she said, all she can do. But let me show you what she just recently did this month after, I'll wait till I get through with this, and then I'll show you that.
How you doing, Mr. Derek Johnson? It's a pleasure to see you. I'm an NAACP member. I joined in February. Me and my 15 and 16-year-old daughters. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, in the Green in the 1950s to the 1976. Moved down to Charleston, Missouri, which is about an hour away from here, in 1996 to help my grandmother. She's an NAACP member. But my question is to my 16-year-old, she was discouraged not to come because we've been fighting battles, and one or two of us, what she was speaking about, the anti-lynching bill. And I seen one of the senators that was holding it up, I think in 2020, I forgot his name, and his reason for holding it up was solely because in the bill they was mentioning abrasions and cuts, and he didn't feel that should be a part of the lynching. But my thing is asking you a question concerning the lynching and the corruption in police making false police reports. And the reason why I'm asking that is because some of you all here probably unheard of it, but I know you probably haven't, and most of the other people haven't because they've never been in the news. On March the 19th, 2021, my 45-year-old son was found hung here in Cottonville, Illinois. Me and my daughters have been protesting along with a few other blacks and whites. One NAACP member that's been helping us. And I filed a report, a complaint with the NAACP here in Cottonville, Illinois, visa email, May 11, 2021. A month later, I hadn't heard nothing. Me and the one other black NAACP member that lives here sent an email to the president and the chair of the criminal department, and I asked, my very question was asking, what's the status and did you get it? And they said it was on hold. The police department, there's no question of doubt. My son was homeless. That's one thing that was against him. He was black, he was on drugs, and he'd been to prison. You see, I asked the Southern newspaper, can they hear my son's side of the story? Because I got the Freedom of Information Act, about over 1,000 pages, but they trying to make it seem like it's suicide. I worked on the ambulance in the 1980s when Harold Washington was the mayor. And I know if I came on the scene of somebody hanging from a third floor in a belt and money balled up in their hand, and you can see a hand like this here in the nose like this here. Take the rigor mortis about an hour to set in. The last place to set in is in the hands, in the feet. Ain't no way my son hung himself. And I haven't got a response there. I talked to, by the end of Missouri, I talked to the Missouri State Conference president, Nimrod Chapel, which I know personally because in 2017, I went down to St. Louis with him to help free this one brother that they was going to execute for killing a white female, but they found out that he didn't do it, his DNA wasn't on that. But I met him, I sent him the pictures of the hand and everything. He looked over it and he said he was going to send it to the Illinois State Conference president. I ain't heard nothing yet, but my daughters never get discouraged. They said, why are we getting another ACP numbers? The branch number that they put on my card is $49.99. But this is my question. How do we show whether police, they false? I know they falsify. There's too much stuff in there. If money balled up in his hand, you a doctor, there's a lot of other doctors in there. You come on the scene, money to CSI, that money balled up in his hand. If you pry his hand open and take the money out, do you put it in an evidence bag or do you put it in a body bag? Common sense, you put it in an evidence bag. They put it in a body bag. So let me just say the last thing I'm going to say. My son's left hand was cut to the tendons. Now, if he was dead and cut to the tendons, we ain't going to see a lot of blood. I worked on ambulance. I ain't no doctor, but if he was cut and on one drop of blood on his shoe, one drop of blood on his pants, one drop of blood here, no shirts on, a white female on the third floor in another building claims she found his shirt, took him in our house, claims she found his mask on the second floor, claims she found the axe outside. Another white female claims she found his wallet 2 days later, 4 blocks down. Another white female got his food stamp card, spent it 39 days after he did, and the prosecuting attorney asked me, what you want me to do? Arrest and prosecute. I had a minister from, a well-known minister from Marion and one from Florida go down there with me to talk to this prosecutor. He told me, he give me a pen and paper, write down who you think killed your son, and tell me who it is. But my thing is to you, how do me and my daughters get help? We ain't gonna give up on the NAACP, but we haven't had any help here. And there's other people, white and black, that know my son didn't kill himself. Said the police had him wired up, snitching on people. That's why his church was up. You see what I'm saying? He had 3 broken fractured ribs.
Let me jump in.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I feel bad for you. That's a tragedy. Absolute tragedy. Secondly, the local branch, this is not what they do. They don't investigate these type of cases. They're volunteers. Thirdly, when you run across these scenarios, oftentimes the support you can provide families is referred to lawyers that you can hire
That's all I'd like to hear. You know, if they don't have the capacity, but when Jesse Smallwood paid them individuals to jump on a letter sent to you from you down to Cook County. I want y'all to look at this picture real good. This is the president of the NAACP, the national president, Derek Johnson. Now that y'all done watched my introduction and then watched what my question was to the national president, the national chapter president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, and you've seen his response about no volunteers or they don't really get involved. But I'm finna show you something to show you what they get involved in. And most time when they get involved in it, Benjamin Crump get involved in it. And y'all know Benjamin Crump is an attorney that fight for people's civil rights. And most times you have to be murdered, or in the your case have to be publicized and in the news. Now, Teresa Haley, the one that I'm finna show you now, I got a chance to meet her personally, in person, on September the 9th, 2022 in Cairo, Illinois. I believe Alexander County, at the Cairo, Illinois High School, at a NAACP banquet there. That's where all the big time lawyers and everybody was there. And I passed out these same flyers that you see to the left. I gave one to one of the lawyers that practice here in the state of Missouri, a female. I'm not going to even say her name. Y'all know who she is. And she practiced in Southern Illinois. She part of the clique with Nancy Maxwell, Linda Flowers, and some of the other NAACP members that all they do is get attention and grant money. But I want you to see what the Illinois State Conference president had to say about what these two white paramedics did to this black brother last year, December of 2022, when he made a call, when somebody made a call, just like they made a call for my son on March 11, 2021, saying that he needed some help. A white female, I guess it was my the young man's companion, called the paramedics, called the police to get help for this young man, and want you to see where he ended up dead in the hands of the paramedics. But Teresa Haley, when the state conference president here in the state of Missouri, after I sent him the information about my son's lynching, he sent it to Illinois. Since it happened to Illinois, he sent it to the state conference president, which in Springfield, Illinois, Teresa Haley. And he said he sent it to her in the FBI. And Teresa Haley, when I met her last year in September the 9th, 2022, in Carbondale, Cairo, Illinois, at the Cairo High School, I got a chance to talk to her personally. She said, "I know who you is, Mr. Ivey. I got that information that Mr. Nimrod Chappell sent you," which is the Missouri State Conference president. He's attorney too. If he didn't think it was something worth doing, he wouldn't have sent it to the authorities of the NAACP in Illinois and the FBI. But she said, I got it and I sent it to Derek Johnson, which is their national president. She said she sent it to him. She didn't get on the news like you're going to see on the news on this one here. I'm a member of the NAACP. My two young daughters is a member of the NAACP, active members, going different places, different cities, and different states, speaking up for other people. But out of the 22 plus million NAACP members, the national chapter president, Derek Johnson,
the 50 state conference presidents, which is one for each state, and the 2,200 presidents in each one of these cities, and ain't none of them spoke up for my son's death or help me and my daughters and them to get any attention. But I want you to see what Teresa Haley did just this month, January of 2023. She got on the news speaking about this here. Got in contact with the police department saying that they doing a good job. But I couldn't get none of them to do this for me, for my son. We doing it by ourselves. You see, we don't have much money. You see, we got a $500 reward, but we still making progress by ourselves and with the one NAACP member in Carbondale, Illinois, that's been helping us out. But listen to what she's saying. And like I say, you know what attorney is representing this family because it's big money in it. It's publicity. But listen to it.
They treated him very poorly, very rough.
And that video can be hard to watch. 2 EMS workers are facing first-degree murder charges for improperly restraining a patient who later died. They're both being held on a $1 million bond. Good evening. I'm Jessica Coons.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. Today, the state's attorney held a news conference to announce the charges against Peggy Finley and Peter Cadigan. He says a man they were transporting was pronounced dead after he arrived at the hospital in Springfield. WCIA3's Theodora Coulivaris is live in downtown Springfield. Theodora, the coroner ruled his death a homicide.
That's right, Jennifer. The coroner says 35-year-old Earl Moore Jr. died from asphyxia. And the body cam footage released from the state's attorney's office shows just how that happened.
Every citizen deserves to be treated fairly, and everyone deserves to have the opportunity to have the appropriate care in saving lives.
Teresa Haley is the president of the Springfield NAACP. She watched this police body camera footage connected to the death of Earl Moore Jr.
You need some help?
In it, you can see Springfield police officers responding to a home. They say Moore called in December, saying there were people with guns in a house. When officers got there, they say someone in the home said that wasn't the case and that Earl was hallucinating from alcohol withdrawal. Police believed he needed medical attention, so they called EMS workers Peggy Finley and Peter Cadigan for help. But when they got there, the state's attorney says they put him on a stretcher face down with restraints.
Knowing based upon their training, experience, and the surrounding circumstances that such acts would create a substantial probability of great bodily harm or death in violation of the criminal code of the state of Illinois.
The coroner says Moore died from asphyxia.
I've classified Mr. Moore's death as a homicide.
The EMS responders work for Lifestar, a private ambulance agency. They are not commenting on the situation at this time. Haley praised the police department for their actions, saying they were very kind and compassionate towards Moore. She also believes they and the state's attorney's office are handling the case appropriately.
The fact that they contacted us and they wanted to maintain that transparency, we don't want Springfield to be a community of unrest. We want them to trust the system and to trust the NAACP.
In a statement, the Springfield Police Department said, quote, "The men and women of the Springfield Police Department join the Springfield community in grieving the unnecessary loss of life and pledge to work with the medical care providers in our area to ensure the citizens of Springfield receive the utmost care and consideration in their time of need." Reporting live in Springfield, I'm Theodora Coulivaris, WCIA3, your local news leader.
As I bring this YouTube video to a conclusion, I ask all the viewers, no matter what, if you like me or not, whether you like me or not, examine these videos that I just showed you, and you honestly tell me, do you think the NAACP stand for all people that has mysterious deaths like my sons? You see, just like Teresa Haley, Linda Flowers, Nancy Maxwell, Carolyn Harvey, just like they can get the news medias and the newspapers to come out to these events that they be in, or when a murder happens, that there's a possibility, a strong possibility of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, is that the only time they come out? Brian Lamont Johns, they knew he was homeless, and they knew the police had him as a paid informant. They knew he had enemies. I sent Teresa Haley videos to show the timeline 24 hours before my son's death, which would put up red flags. I showed her where the police didn't do nothing about a white school teacher spending his food stamp 39 days after his death. She didn't get on the news. You know why? Because Linda Flowers, Nancy Maxwell, Carolyn Harvey, they work for they part of the city, or they done got grant money from the city. But I'm going to leave it at this here. God going to move this here investigation of my sons. It's already happening. Peace be still.